When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
His name, Samuels, had the podcast. The women hated Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels, yes.
Kevin Samuels was eliminated because they didn't want to go back to that. They want these women ignorant and twerking. They want kids running around the street. If they don't pay the income tax, they put them in the penitentiary and they get their money out of them that way.
You don't want to be on, I don't want you on there. Are you seeing me? I'm trying to protect you. Okay, you need to, okay, I'm about to get back on camera. Just get wherever you're going to get to, so. You got it? Okay, all right.
The death of Kevin Samuels is sparking a lot of controversy on Twitter. Ernest Owens tweeted, "Kevin Samuels has made a career off of shamelessly disgracing black women for profit. He emboldened the most toxic individuals to project tired and harmful narratives about black women. Dead or alive, what a disgraceful life to live. That's all I've got for that misogynist." And this person tweeted, "All Kevin Samuels did was tell broke men and overweight women to be realistic, and y'all out here acting like he was Scar from The Lion King. Y'all weird." The tweets got to a point where even Dr. Umar spoke out about Kevin Samuels passing. Now, on a side note, I just wanted to acknowledge how biased this headline is. It reads, "Misogynist YouTuber Kevin Samuels is dead at 57. Dead or alive, he was a disgrace." That's biased as hell. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments.
I see that you said we not sad, and I highly doubt that you have the authority or qualified to speak on all men, so it's probably best that you speak for yourself. And you are sad, and I want you to know that it's absolutely okay. You're allowed to be sad. You can even cry. It's okay. I won't tell nobody. What you and a lot of unevolved men who were all up his ass failed to realize is that he supported a patriarchal system that oppressed women and oppressed men simultaneously. But y'all don't like to see the whole picture. You just like to look at the parts that make you feel more egotistical and more superior. Just like men don't like to be categorized with men, they're nothing alike. Women don't like to be categorized with women that they're nothing alike. And no two women on this earth are the same. Meanwhile, men who march to this patriarchal tune are more like carbon copies of each other than we are. Me asking who's going to run the He-Man Woman Haters Club now is mocking y'all, not him. He mocked our entire existence. So the point is, without his delusional guidance, now you have to process your own emotions and think for yourselves. Godspeed.
This man was a hypocrite. In my honest opinion, he really was. I didn't find anything about him to be healing. He insulted African-American women on a consistent basis. One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, it was a shock jock. And, you know, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, you know, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality.
Ma'am, book a session.
And just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings, and most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
They said the best thing to keep stuff away from black folks is to put it where? In the book. Guess what? I love to read, baby. I could read to y'all all day. Here we go. Let's go. We reverse nature by burning and pulling one civilized apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. By her being left alone, unprotected with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reversed roles. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent. What have you got? You've got the nigga woman out front and the man behind and scared. This is a perfect situation for sound sleep and economic. The Latin word for respect is respectus. And guess what it means? It means to look back at. To look at again. I challenge you, sisters. Look at your man again. Look at your son's father again. And instead of looking at him through the eyes of the white supremacists, look at him through who you know he truly is deep down inside. Pray for him. Respect him. Love him. Help him to become the king and the God that he truly is.
Telling a black woman that she is the backbone of the family is an insult directly to the black man. Because y'all basically saying, he ain't got no backbone. And ladies, I don't want that kind of pressure. Y'all okay with being a backbone to the family? Listen, I ain't leaving or putting out my man to be no backbone or no family. That's a lot of work. That's some stress. I ain't trying to be out here scratching, baby. I don't want... You see how hard it is to keep this skin clear? I ain't like y'all. I ain't built for this. Half of y'all ain't either. That's why y'all mad. That's why y'all fussing, arguing. I went to a meeting today. The lady was so overbearingly disrespectful because she not happy with home life. Man, I'm like, damn. Even the older generation's still bitter. So if they ain't healing, that means we got some work to do, sis. We got work to do. Y'all better tap in. Telling a black woman that she is the backbone of the family is an insult directly to the black man. Because y'all basically saying, he ain't got no backbone. And ladies, I don't want that kind of pressure. Y'all okay with being a backbone to the family? Listen, I ain't leaving or putting out my man to be no backbone or no family. That's a lot of work. That's some stress. I ain't trying to be out here scratching, baby. I don't want... You see how hard it is to keep this skin clear? I ain't like y'all. I ain't built for this. Half of y'all ain't either. That's why y'all mad. That's why y'all fussing, arguing. I went to a meeting today. The lady was so overbearingly disrespectful because she not happy with home life. Man, I'm like, damn. Even the older generation's still bitter. So if they ain't healing, that means we got some work to do, sis. We got work to do. Y'all better tap in.
They trying to plan us against each other. They trying to do it by empowering women to make us feel so independent, like we don't need a man, when we really do, especially if we have kids. Now, those of you that don't have kids yet, you might not need a man just yet. But those of us that do have kids, we need a man, sis. We do. Our kids need a man. All right? They do. Very much so. But the system got us feeling like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Now we got all these feminine men. We got all these masculine women. This is what they wanted. And they winning. So strong men, salute. I respect you. I hope that and I pray that you find a woman that can let you lead and have some beautiful children for you. Woo, Lord, this is scary. For real. It really is.
Yeah. Shut up, Kosher. Yeah. Shut up. Whoa. Shut up, Kosher. Ballin'. Take it back.
Like it's game time. Game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin'. Like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for my bag coming. 3 whole years and these records keep running. Don't talk to me if you can't match the numbers. Ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for mine.
Nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings. And most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every mother night.
You can't.
Fire for your mind. Culture, clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't culture. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women, clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters, acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. Seven wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. Seven wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. Seven wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. Seven wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen.
All right, guys, I'm bringing to you live from the greatest state in the union, the Tar Heel State, guys. If you guys can hear me, hit one because we're about to get into it on tonight. I need you guys to do me a favor because it took a lot of time to put this show together, guys. And do me a favor by sharing the stream. Share the stream. And we're going to get deep into it, guys, because this is going to be a good one. Because there are many theories. But I'm not going to even say theories, but truths. The whole thing. Based on what we know or perceive, one would ask the question, was Kevin Samuels eliminated? And it'll make sense if you think about it from a spiritual perspective. Kevin Samuels was changing the game on many levels, and the powers that be didn't like it. Now, some would say it's a conspiracy theory. I believe it's a conspiracy truth. I believe in truth they conspired together to take this man out. And I believe that they did it, guys, and I believe they did it succinctly because of this. The family at one point, or the family is considered to be the greatest part of society. And when you hear folks talking about family and community, what we had or what we saw yesterday will never happen again. And so when I heard the story, guys, I was perplexed a little bit because Demond Wilson, the former person from Sanford and Son, more or less pontificated what I believe. I believe that Kevin Samuels was taken out of the way. And I believe it because of this. He was changing the game. And whether you like Kevin Samuels or whether you think he is like Kevin Samuels or was neutral or didn't like him at all, Kevin Samuels was getting big. He was getting extremely big. And he was changing the dynamics as it relates to relationships. Now, as Kevin Samuels was coming to his end, similar to Dr. King, he began to be more of a passport bro. Because I think Kevin was beginning to realize that his good was not good enough. And I think what Kevin began to do is this. He began to look within and say, it's best for black men to do what's best for them. And you guys will see on tonight why, based on the evidence, it's possible that K. Samuels was taken out of the way. Because what a Hegelian dialectic is this. A Hegelian dialectic basically means to cause order, to bring order out of chaos. And the powers that be, or the oligarchs behind the scene, didn't like where and what he was doing. Because guys, what some don't understand is that some believe that we are encroaching upon a new world order, or NWO. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. There have been many books written. There's a book that was written called The Naked Communist, and it's going to explain it even more or more in depth. Get the likes up, guys. We're going to get deep into it on tonight. Share this stream. It took me 10 hours to put this show together. But I wasn't surprised when I heard Damon Wilson, former from Sanford and Son, say that Kevin Samuels was deleted. And once again, guys, I believe it because the oligarchs are part of the esoteric. And ever since the inceptions of the Americas, while this country was born under Christian values, there were some that came into this country and they mixed paganism with Christianity. And what you're going to see on tonight, guys, and based on what Damon Wilson said, that there were policies that were put together to destroy the fabric of this country. Some call it the zeitgeist or the spirit of this age. Some call it also a Hegelian dialectic. And that's to bring order out of chaos. So guys, share the stream, donate to the channel. If you don't have any money, share the stream for me, please. Because I want to educate you brothers on the night. This is going to be a good show. But Damon Wilson, formerly from Sanford and Son, said that he was deleted. And he said that around the 70s or the 80s, he knew that it was over. And he wrote a book forecasting what was going to happen. And so when people talk about bringing the country back or black community, the black family, in theory, that sounds good. And I'm for it. I do believe in family. I think if you can find a good woman. But the problem is the laws and the system and the indoctrination is all predicated on Marxist ideology. And so no matter what you try to do or no matter what you aspire to do, the writing is on the wall. The world that we know from yesterday will never come back into fruition again. It will never come back into fruition again. Because, guys, we're going down the rabbit hole too far and never to come back into fruition again. So, guys, share the stream. I need you guys to share this stream and donate the channel because Cortez Smith is right. We're about to go down the rabbit hole in a minute. We're going to get deep into it on tonight because the world that you and I knew, guys, is long gone. And it's long gone, guys, because men are not leading and the children are rebelling and the women are taking over.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
Down the rabbit hole we go. This is a place where we explore, analyze, collaborate.
And God, this rabbit hole is real deep. It's real deep because what appears to be on surface is really just an aberration. So I didn't say it, guys, but this is what Damon Wilson said. And if you listen to what he's saying, guys, it makes a lot of sense. So we're about to get into it. Donate to the channel, guys. Let's get this stream up. Share this stream with multiple people, guys. We only got 26 in. Let's get up to 50 and hopefully 100 before we end the show. took me 10 hours to put this show together, so I need you guys to help me if you guys want me to continue to put content like this together. Because this content is very time consuming, so I need you to help me. And if you don't have any money, that's okay. Just donate. I mean, share the stream, all right? So we're going to get deep into it, guys. Hold up.
Cast. What was his name? Samuels. Had the podcast. The women hated Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels, yes.
Kevin Samuels was eliminated because they didn't want to go back to that. They want these women ignorant and twerking.
And guys, that's something to ponder and think about. Because I've said before, guys, and I'll say it now. American women were compromised, but the black American woman was compromised. She was compromised. She was compromised, and she wasn't perfect in the past, but the black American woman before the 50s and 60s or in the 50s, she was the greatest woman ever.
Fall comes to us in its own time. Fighters keepers, losers we.
But she was compromised, guys. And she was compromised by oligarchs. She was compromised by liberal indoctrination. She was compromised by her own wanderlust. Because the black woman wanted to be, some will argue, like Miss Ann. She wanted the power or the perceived power that the white woman had. And what she did, not all, but many, sold out the black man and the black family for power. Because see, you know and I know that the black man never had power. He never had power to oppress anyone. But because of the desire to be like Miss Ann, she sold out the black man under the guise that she was oppressed. And black men never had power to oppress as it relates to policy. And because of that, guys, many are beginning to sing that song, Whole World Laughing at Me. But also, guys, many are their angry birds.
Loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female. Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need y'all.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings. And most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every month of night.
You can't
delete your.
And so, guys, you can't delete the skeet. Use your own imagination. You can't delete the skeet. Because many of them have been skeeted in since the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and even more. A bunch of damaged, deranged, illogical women that think that they're better than what they really are. And they were compromised. And because of that, guys, now you got a generation of broken women that think that they're entitled to the top tier men. But when it comes down to virtue, their virtue is gone. The virtue is all gone. The virtue is gone. And the men that have power, money, and status, they're saying, I'm not interested in those women anymore. And what you have now, guys, once again, is a condition called a Hegelian dialectic. And that's just a fancy way of saying bringing order out of chaos. And so a Hegelian dialectic is a fancy way of almost like divide, conquer, and scatter. And so a Hegelian dialectic is it's an agenda, a centralized point of power, and then thesis, manufactured terrorist threat, and then antithesis, a repressive police state, and then a synthesis, removal of freedoms, transfer of power from the many to the few. And that leads to an oligarchy. And the oligarchs don't believe in family. They'll steal your power and they'll steal away your freedoms. And what Kevin Samuels was doing, he was trying to bring the force. Now, once again, whether you like Kevin was polarizing to some. Many loved him, some were neutral. But there are some that hated him. And black women, many laughed at him when he passed away. And guys, what you don't understand, some of this stuff is also very occultic. It's tied into the occult. It's tied into the occult. And in the Christian circle, some would say that the zeitgeist or the spirit of this age is also the spirit of the Antichrist. But I'm not going to get too much deep into that because that's a high level of thinking and it can be very complex and it might not make any sense to you. So I'm going to add and get into the show and listen to what the mom wants to say.
They want kids running around the street. If they don't pay the income tax, they put them in the penitentiary and they get their money out of them that way.
And God, this was the last stage, or this was the last showing of Kevin Samuels. This was the last showing of him before his untimely demise. And when it happened, I said to myself, I believe that somebody did something nefarious to this man. Once again, some call it conspiracy theory, but I agree with Sanford, Damon Wilson, because he was in Hollywood, and the word Hollywood is a stick that witches use. And what some of you don't understand, some of you have been under a spell for a long time. You've been under a spell. And a lot of these modern women have been under a spell. They have been tricked and hoodwinked into believing that they have power, but really they don't have any power. Their power is in their femininity. And like I said, guys, the family that we once had is long gone. The power that we once had is long gone, never to come back again.
You don't want to be on, I don't want you on there. Okay, you see me, I'm trying to protect you. Okay, you need to. Okay, I'm about to get back on camera. Just get wherever you're gonna get to. So. You got it. Okay. All right.
And God, this man was so powerful that he was getting men from under a spell. And let me go even deeper. Kevin Samuels was not the first one. There were many before Kevin Samuels. In the black space, there was Black Ram. Black Ram was one of them. Ron Wills. The Angry Man played a role as well. Obsidian has played a role. But it goes even deeper than that. Tommy probably started the conversation from a different perspective. Tommy Sotomayor. I would say he started the conversation in a different way. And then white guys were like the Sandman. And they all have been talking about female nature. But then I would say that Kevin studied some of his talking points also from Tom Likas. But Kevin was able to craft different talking points and create an explosion. And during COVID, he hit a wave. And when he hit that wave, he began to get into inner circles. And that inner circle was so powerful, guys, that it got to Hollywood. Celebrities were listening to Kevin Samuels. Dignitaries were listening to Kevin Samuels. Some liked him, but many hated him. And some were plotting and celebrating when this man passed. And that's why I told you guys, a lot of these women have been indoctrinated by Marxist ideologies. They see you, the black man, as the enemy, and they think that you are the problem. Many have been skeeted in, and because many have been skeeted in, now they're angry. And they've morphed from beautiful women to angry birds. Shout out to Tip Network. But they've been skeeted in, and now they are angry birds.
Loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about
He's a
certain
loser.
other female. Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings. And most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every month of night.
You can't
delete your.
And you can't delete the skeet, guys, because you got a generation of women that got a lot of pus in them, and I won't say the word, but they got a lot of pus in them, and that skeet has caused them to have a lot of mental problems. And that's what happens when you take on liberal ideologies and liberal talking points. And now, guys, what we used to have, we don't have anymore. Guys, do me a favor, share this stream. Once again, it took me 10 hours to cut this show and put it together. If you appreciate what I'm doing, share the stream and donate to the channel. But we got to get deep into it, guys. Hold tight.
The death of Kevin Samuels is sparking a lot of controversy on Twitter. Ernest Owens tweeted, Kevin Samuels has made a career off of shamelessly disgracing black women for profit. He emboldened the most toxic individuals to project tired and harmful narratives about black women. Dead or alive, what a disgraceful life to live. That's all I've got for that misogynist. And this person tweeted, all Kevin Samuels did was tell broke men and overweight women to be realistic, and y'all out here acting like he was Scar from The Lion King. Y'all weird. The tweets got to a point where even Dr. Umar spoke out about Kevin Samuels passing. Now, on a side note, I just wanted to acknowledge how biased this headline is. It reads, misogynist YouTuber Kevin Samuels is dead at 57. Dead or alive, he was a disgrace. That's biased as hell. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments.
I see that you said we not sad, and I highly doubt that you have the authority or qualified to speak on all men, so it's probably best that you speak for yourself. And you are sad, and I want you to know that it's absolutely okay. You're allowed to be sad. You can even cry. It's okay. I won't tell nobody. Would you and a lot of unevolved men who...
And guys, look at these toxic women, these toxic angry birds talking down to black men. Women that if they were in other countries, they would be severely dealt with. They will be severely dealt with in other countries. And now what you see, guys, is a generation of women that have been severely damaged from all these years of liberal indoctrination. And what people don't understand, guys, this is spiritual warfare, as I said earlier. And there was a wage that was it was a war that was waged on black people, and it was a Marxist agenda. If you guys haven't read the book, read a book called The Naked Communist. And it's called the Klavan-Piven theory. And it's all predicated on divide and conquer. And we're more divided now, guys, than we've ever been before. We're more divided now than we have ever been before in human history. And those that say black family, black unity, once again, I'm not against it, but you got to look at things through the lens of being scholastic. According to the scripture, we're in the last days. We're in the last of the last days. But not only that, this is the age of Aquarius. And it's been going on since the 60s, but even more so before then. But from the 60s, guys, on up to now, you begin to see the manifestation of a lot of chicanery. To the point in the 60s, shout out to Gregory Scotland, 25 to 26% of children were born out of wedlock. I believe in the 70s, about 27%. And now damn near 70% of children, over 70% of children, are born in single-parent homes because of liberal talking points and liberal ideologies. And because of that, guys, you have a society and you have a community that's broken. The children are broken. The children are confused. Hold on, Gregory, I didn't get no super chat. Greg, I didn't get a super chat. No, sir, I didn't get anything. Have anybody been donating? Because maybe UT was taking it, but I didn't get a super chat. I don't see one. Hold on for a minute. Somebody sent a super chat because Gregory said he sent one, but I don't see anything. So I don't know what's going on. But no, I didn't get a super chat, Gregory. All right, but we're going to get deep into it, guys. Hold tight.
All up his ass failed to realize is that he supported a patriarchal system that oppressed women and oppressed men simultaneously. But y'all don't like to see the whole picture. You just like to look at the parts that make you feel.
And this is, guys, the spirit of the Antichrist. This bird said that Kevin supported a system that oppressed men and women. That's Marxist indoctrination. Because what Kevin was talking about was really biblical. God supports order, but this bird that says that Kevin oppressed people. Once again, how did Kevin oppress anybody from the policy level? How did Kevin oppress anyone at the policy level? Kevin didn't oppress anybody. What Kevin was doing was liberating men and traditional women that want to be liberated. But once again, before Kevin, there were four wonders that came before Kevin, as I said earlier. Black Ram, Angry Man, Sandman, Turd Flinging Monkey, and many, many others. And that's why these spaces, guys, are dangerous to them, because they don't understand that black men don't hate black women. But we hate what they have become. And that's why men are checking out and going abroad. Once again, guys, get the likes up, donate to the channel, please. To the 38, share the stream. We're about to get back into it.
More egotistical and more superior. Just like men don't like to be categorized with men they're nothing alike, women don't like to be categorized with women that they're nothing alike. And no two women on this earth are the same. Meanwhile, men who march to this patriarchal tune are more like carbon copies of each other than we are. Me asking who's going to run the heat.
And see, guys, what these birds want, these angry birds want taxation without representation. They want the benefits, guys. They want the benefits of being married. They want a partnership because that's a Marxist talking point. But at the same time, they still expect you to be traditional. And that's why I don't advise men to get married here in America, because there's no benefit. A man that got a lot to lose will be a fool to marry the typical American woman, unless he can find a woman that's on his program and a woman that respects him as a man.
Man, Woman Haters Club now is mocking y'all, not him. He mocked our entire existence. So the point is, without his delusional guidance, now you have to process your own emotions and think for yourselves. Godspeed.
This man.
And you see how wicked they are, guys? Let me tell you something, guys. Stop talking to delusional women. Only process with women that are traditional, women that understand the assignment, and women that are godly women. Stop talking to delusional women. Because see, when you talk to a fool, you become a fool. Stop talking to them. Keep your head down and move forward. Because they say a patriarchal system, not understanding that you cannot have protection without being under a healthy patriarchy. And that's why I said, guys, this system has been going on for years, when they've been trying to destroy what once was a vibrant black community. Black people were more together after slavery than we are now. We're divided, we're clueless, and our children don't have no compass or direction. And that's why so much brokenness, guys, here in America.
Man was a hypocrite. In my honest opinion, he really was. I didn't find anything about him to be healing. He insulted African-American women on a consistent basis. One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good. And
guys, what it is, they're delusional. See, simps, let me be careful. SIMPs make average women think that they are superior. SIMPs make delusional women think that they are superior. When their grace is gone, when their beauty is gone, they still think they got the same rights as women that are younger, fit, and fertile. And that's why I detest weak men that don't stand on masculine virtues. Because what they're doing, they're lying to these women and they're deceiving them into what they think they should get. And this is what I call, guys, a matrix mindset. These women are matrix minded. And they are matrix minded because they don't value you. They don't respect you as a man. They don't think you deserve anything of substance or grace. And in many times, guys, they think that they're superior to you. That's why a lot of times, guys, when they come down to these talking points, they'll ask you for your credentials because on a subconscious level, that's how they devalue you because they think that they are better, and they're not. Because how can something be greater if they can't create an infrastructure? How can you be greater than something when you ain't created a damn thing? You ain't created nothing. So how can you be greater when you have created nothing? All human life come through the seed of man. You just an incubator. Shout out to my man K White for the 5. I appreciate it, K White. And K White, he is the #1 sponsor of this stream. Thank you, K White, for the 5. Thank you, sir.
It's the money.
And guys, this type of thinking have led to magical thinking, but it's caused a lot of these women, guys, to have what's called a severe case of cognitive dissonance, a severe case of magical thinking. And it's led to what Kevin was pushing before he passed, which was the Passport Bro movement. Kosherbot, I need you to explain to the people about the Passport Bro movement.
Kosherbot, load the machine.
Yes, Master Kosher, at your service, right away.
Black Men with Passport is an inspiring movement that aims to encourage and empower black men to explore the world and broaden their horizons through travel. In a society where there are often barriers and stereotypes facing black men, this movement seeks to break down those walls and showcase the incredible experiences and opportunities that travel can offer. The idea behind Black Men with Passport is to challenge the limiting narrative that black men are only confined to certain spaces or activities. By highlighting the stories and journeys of black men who have traveled to various parts of the world, This movement aims to redefine what it means to be a black man in today's world. Through social media platforms and in-person events, Black Men with Passports shares the stories and experiences of black men who have embarked on travel adventures. These stories not only serve as sources of inspiration and empowerment, but also offer valuable insights and tips for other black men who may be curious about exploring new destinations. By showcasing the diversity of experiences, cultures, and people encountered.
And guys, as Kevin was about to expire, he began to understand that low-value women were complicit in sign language. He knew that low vibrational women were complicit in sign language. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. That's the typical modern woman. But I created my own acronym because I am the kosher clinician. And my acronym said, my acronym was DEAF. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue, do ad hominem attacks, and they will fight you or flee when you give them the evidence because they cannot hear what you're saying. And that's why so many men are checking out or becoming indifferent, because you will be a fool because these women have become brainwashed.
Disposable. To me, it was a shock jock. And, you know, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, you know, the fact that he killed over real quick. And
look how disrespectful. You would think this man was Adolf Hitler. But look how disrespectful this woman was. That's why they got so much hatred towards that man. Because they're not used to men speaking up. So they're trying to shame you into silence. Won't damn shame me. You're not going to shame me, because when you bark, I'm going to bark even louder. And when you bite, I'm going to bite even harder, because it's manipulation. And there's social engineering, which is part of, as I said earlier, guys, a Hegelian dialectic. And we'll get into that in a minute. Shout out to my man Top Gun. She said she is mad that Black Girl Magic had an expiration date. The towel was thrown in years ago for me, yes. And if I was a single man, Top Gun, if I was a single man, I would damn throw in the towel, because you're not getting anything in general equality. I'm not saying that there's not a percentage of decent women, but it's hard to find. And I'm going to prove my point. If the Bible says that the virtuous woman is rare and she's like rubies, and the Bible was saying that years ago, before maybe thousands of years ago, how much more is the modern woman now worse than the virtuous woman in biblical times? And so when people talk about, a good woman, it ain't damn too many of them. The virtuous woman back then, the Bible says she was rare. And she was under a healthy patriarchy. But now, these gynocrats, these women are out of control. They're horrible. And you think I'm going to sit up and damn blow bubbles under women's behind and tell them how good they are. They're hard to find, especially for a masculine man. Because modern women, guys, don't want no relationship where the man is the leader. They want to lead. They want to lead, and they want you to lead. But if they understand anything about power symmetry, a masculine man going to be the alpha dog. And he needs a woman that's going to be his cheerleader. It can't be two starting point guards on the team at the same time. It ain't going to work. And that's why I tell guys to check out. Because there's no benefit. It's no benefit. And sadly, the powers that be want it that way.
Was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality. Rest in peace.
Your work with Red Fox, you would continue to do your own thing and start getting other roles. But at one point, it seemed like, I don't know if you deliberately stepped back or roles maybe.
I went into ministry.
Okay.
1983, brother. I went into ministry. I preached this gospel around the world, Africa, Asia.
But the question would be, why would you leave Hollywood? Like, what was?
Why do you keep using that word? Why are you using that word?
Hollywood.
Hollywood is a tiny little place of factories. I worked at an NBC factory, a CBS factory, a ABC factory. Studios are nothing but great big sound stages. Hollywood is a small community. Do you know what that sign up there, Hollywood, stands for?
And that sign, Hollywood, guys, is more or less like a broomstick. It's what witches use. And what Damon Wilson is basically saying is that ever since the advent of the television, the world has been under a spell. And the powers that be have been working on the traditional family since the 50s. And it's gotten worse. It went from the 50s to the 60s with the free love movement to the 70s with these Marxist organizations. And the Black Panthers were funded by the Rockefellers. And just like BLM, it was funded by the Rockefellers. And it's all part of what's called a Hegelian dialectic to bring order out of chaos.
Do you know what Hollywood is? It's a stick that witches use to conjure magic. So Hollywood doesn't mean anything to me. I went to a factory and I went to work.
You give me
all of them. All of them. You name your biggest black actors, you name your biggest white actors, you name your biggest female Latino actresses, they all have to do it. A blood oath. Now you bend over. Now every orifice that you have is going to be annihilated. Now you got all these guys, they take your humanity from you. You know how the feminist movement has categorized men. I think that what was his name? Samuels had the podcast that women hated. Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels, yes.
Kevin Samuels was eliminated because they didn't want to go back to that. They want these women ignorant and twerking. They want kids running around the street. If they don't pay the income tax, they put them in the penitentiary and they get their money out of them that way.
We got women out here can't find a man because they acting like.
So guys, basically, it's been a war on masculinity, but there have also been a war on the family. There's been a war on masculinity, and there's been a war on the family. And a lot of these birds, guys, are shapeshifters. They are very duplicitous. And you can never vet a woman 100%. But there are triggers or there are qualifiers to let you know that she's a woman that might be decent. But it's hard to find a good, virtuous woman in the West. You can find a woman, but if that woman is not disciplined, it's a waste of your time, guys. Because as I said before earlier, guys, if I was a single man, I would never deal with the typical American woman as a traditional man, because these women have been compromised. They've been severely compromised.
You are alpha. Now the alphas all want these subservient husbands. You can't have one.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. You know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is? Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. But I'm not scared of being the competition. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team. They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't. All of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my in front of all my people at my age.
And guys, many of these oligarchs are those that are elites. They all go into the occult or the esoteric. All this stuff you've seen proliferating is part of what theologians call the beginning of the last days. It started over 2,000 years ago when the master teacher went back And I'm not out here trying to act like I'm some kind of, I don't live the Bible like I should and used to. But I grew up in faith. And what you're seeing there, guys, is an attack on masculinity. And also it's an attack on the structure of the family, because the family is the image of the Godhead. But now what they're trying to do, they're trying to push an agenda. And they're trying to bring chaos out of order. We're going to talk about the Hegelian dialectic in a minute. But hold tight.
Agency. I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about.
One of the worst things we can do as men is to be with women who don't want us. I've been in that position too. I have simped, I have done stuff, I've been in the friend zone, I've done all that kind of stuff. And I will tell you, gentlemen, don't do it. Never do that. It's never a good idea. I said it 2 weeks old. Stop trying to win women over. And see, that's the beautiful thing about becoming a high value man. You don't have to win.
And he's correct about trying to win women over. He's correct. Let me tell you something, guys. Y'all have more power than you realize. You have more power than you realize. You have so much power. But until you operationalize that power, it means nothing. The best thing you can do as a man is to become indifferent and walk away if that woman is not on your program. If she's not respecting you, honoring you, and that dirty word, obeying you, the best thing you can do is walk away, because you have more power than you realize. The power of indifference drives a woman crazy. And we all have sinned. We all have. But the power of a masculine man is becoming indifferent. And what you got now, guys, is subpar women that think they're better than what they really are. And in the words of Marvin Winans, he said, go and do this.
It's him no more. Ma'am, book a session.
Why do you think a woman who is an average looking, below average physicality, below average weight, can sit around talking about they're gonna hold out? Or wait, what are you waiting for? The answer is what many are waiting for is a sucker. They're waiting for somebody to go ahead and say, you know what? Even though you got 200,000 miles on you and had a couple of wrecks, I'm going to go ahead and pay brand new prices for it.
And the bad thing is, guys, they want to dictate to you what the market is instead of letting the market dictate to them what they are. And that's why I said, guys, SIMPs are so dangerous.
Women over. You deal with the women who show interest in you and want to get on your program and are proving their worth to you.
Because even though I did not agree with Kevin Samuels, I still respected him as a black man. And I thought it was very disingenuous to see so many women and men mock his death, make fun of him in his death. And to me, the reason that was so hypocritical, Kevin Samuels wasn't around long enough to do the damage that gangster rap has done. But you have yet to repudiate a single gangster rapper. Kevin Samuels was not around long enough to do what the reality shows have done. But you haven't repudiated a single reality show. One of the issues I have with us is this selective morality that we practice. If you do something wrong, I'm going to condemn you and I'm going to judge you like God himself. But if you do it, I'm going to pardon it because I like who you are and what you're doing. Selective morality is hypocrisy, and there's too much of it in the black community.
Yeah, I agree.
So I found myself being a little bit of a
And guys, there were some women, shout out to the good women and shout out to the good brothers that were open to having a conversation. And at least Umar, unlike some women, is more pragmatic. At least Umar is pragmatic. I don't agree with all Umar's talking points because I don't believe in which appears to be cult-like tendencies of the pro-black movement because black people are not monolithic. But Umar is correct in this particular perception. And sadly, guys, it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse as we speak now. It's gotten a whole lot worse. And I think once this man, untimely demise, came, men realized, you know what, enough is enough. It's best that we move on and do what's best for us.
Hypocrite over the last few days since the death of Kevin Samuels, who I definitely was a supporter of. Honestly, when I first saw the Average at Best video, the 30-second clip, I thought, who he think he is talking to her like that? And so I went and I watched the entire thing because I like to have an opinion, you know, of my own and not just what everyone else is echoing, because I have a brain. Yeah. So I went and I watched the entire episode and I was like, huh, okay. He's got a good point there. Now his delivery, it is what it is. You know, that's his personality. You're either going to watch him and accept and be able to digest what he's saying, or you're going to have an issue with his delivery and totally miss the message. I don't really find that there's a lot of in-between people when it comes to Kevin Samuels. You either love the man or you hate him, you see me? All right, so I happen to love him. I love this message. I took a lot of value from what his message was, which was kind of really simple. And black women, you know, y'all still missing the point. I mean, all he's saying is don't shit on black men because you make more than them. I think statistically, probably black women are more likely to be higher earning now because of all of our degrees and whatnot. But yeah, the man doesn't just bring money to the table, does he? Like, him being a provider, does it only mean he can pay your bills? I think not. What about protection and being a father? Just his presence. Like, there's so much more to the black man outside of him being able to buy you stuff. Like, that's so freaking superficial, right? Anyway, so yeah, I sat and I watched hours of his content. I used to tune into some of his lives, and when you really sit down and listen to what the man is saying, if you have a brain, you'll see the value and the pure wisdom that he spoke, right? But no, black women are dragging this and they're laughing and they're happy that he's gone. But you know what? This is where I said I felt like I was a hypocrite because.
And guys, what they want to do is keep you in a stupor. They want to keep you in a stupor. And these are the same women, guys, that want you to come back and save a community that don't or have not been trained to respect black men. They want you to come back and support a said community that has not been conditioned to respect and honor black men. And so, guys, I submit you will be a fool. You will be a fool to get caught up in this matrix because it's a matrix mindset. And the matrix mindset, guys, it was by design. It was by design. The matrix mindset was by design. And it also was about the destruction or the disillusionment of the black family and also the black man. And what you guys are seeing now, guys, is the continuation of that. You're seeing the continuation of that.
The other day, there was a black guy that passed. He was, I believe, murdered. I don't know what the case is, but he was one that would publicly bash black women, like say a lot of nasty things about us. And he was dating a white woman, and the white woman apparently killed him, stabbed him or whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When that sucker died, like, I remember being one online that I would chime in and I jumped into the memes and I was like, okay, next. So what y'all having for dinner? Like, I gave no F's, right? I didn't care because this man clearly hated me. He hated his mama. So why should I care that he's gone, you know? And I think it's funny to see how now that same thing is being done to Kevin, because people think Kevin Samuels hated black women, but they don't actually sit on and listen to the message and sit at.
If they don't,
shout out to my man Gregory Scotland, as he's the #1 sponsor of the stream. Shout out to Gregory Scotland as the #1 sponsor of the stream. Gregory said this: Coach, we saw so much take place in 2 months span. Kevin's death in May. Then the dancing on his grave by American black women, soft girl era, and finally passport bros, and the SYSBM conversation. Yeah, Gregory, I totally agree. And once again, it proliferated. It proliferated even more so now. And that's why I keep telling guys they got to focus on themselves. And Gregory Scotland, you are the #1 sponsor of this stream. I appreciate it, sir.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Shout out to Gregory Scotland. He's the #1 sponsor. Don't let Gregory and Top Gun and my man K White be the only ones to donate, guys. There's 50 people in the house. Let's get a decent number in. I appreciate it.
Higher earning now because of all of our degrees and whatnot. But yeah, the man doesn't just bring money to the table, does he? Like, him being a provider, does it only mean he can pay your bills? I think not. What about protection and being a father? Just his presence. Like, there's so much more to the black man outside of him being able to buy you stuff. Like, that's so freaking superficial, right? Anyway, so yeah, I sat and I watched hours of his content. I used to tune in to some of his lives, and when you really sit down and listen to what the man is saying, if you have a brain, you'll see the value and the pure wisdom that he spoke, right? But no, black.
Shout out to my man Richie Mack. Zoom to Thailand. That's my homie. Number love and respect from Richie. He said, salute to KC. Just dropped in to show some love, Coach. No doubt, Richie. I appreciate it, man. Much love to my man Richie. Guys, go support my man Richie Mack. And I appreciate it, Richie. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the $5, man. I appreciate it, brother. Actually, 777. I'm sorry. Actually, Richie, you get the big beat from my man Big Bass. Hold tight.
I am the one to take 2 just to make it. 3 if you hating, 4 your replacement. 5 I'm the best to survive in the matrix. 6 in you out, rest in peace to your baby. I am the one to take 2 just to make it. 3 if you hating, 4 your replacement. 5 I'm the best to survive in the matrix. 6 in you out, rest in peace to your baby. 7 if it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Hell is your home, but you looking for heaven. 7 if it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Hell is your home, but you looking for heaven. 7 if it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Hell is your home, but you looking for heaven. 7 if it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Hell is your home, but you looking for heaven. If it ain't kosher, ain't 7, 7, 7, 7. If it ain't kosher, ain't 7, 7, 7, 7. If it ain't kosher, ain't 7, 7, 7, 7. If it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Ah!
And what they don't understand, guys, it's power in that 7. It's power in the 7. There's power in the 7, and I ain't gonna talk about it because that's the esoteric. But shout out to my man Richard Mack, and I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Women are dragging this and they're laughing and they're happy that he's gone. But you know what? This is where I said I felt like I was a hypocrite, because the other day there was a black guy that passed. He was, I believe, murdered. I don't know what the case is, but he was one that would publicly bash black women, like say a lot of nasty things about us. And he was dating a white woman, and the white woman apparently killed him, stabbed him or whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When that sucker died, like, I remember being one online that I would chime in and I jumped into the memes and I was like, Okay, next. So what y'all having for dinner? Like, I gave no F's, right? I didn't care because this man clearly hated me. He hated his mama. So why should I care that he's gone, you know? And I think it's funny to see how now that same thing is being done to Kevin, because people think Kevin Samuels hated black women, but they don't actually sit on and listen to the message and see that he didn't hate black women. He was actually for black women. He wanted to see black women do better. He wanted to help us change our mindset so that we could, you know, accept the black man. Right? So yeah, I was faced with my own hypocrisy the other day when that happened. So, you know what? When the world loses a black man, it's just a sad thing, because, you know, that black man was a father, he was a friend, most likely he was a son. You know, we're out here losing, and we're celebrating the loss of our men. Like, it's bad enough say most of them are.
And you know what I find so amazing, guys? To these angry birds, that said that they support the sisterhood, they didn't realize this man had a mother and a daughter, and probably sisters. Well, I think he was the only child. But in the most vulnerable time, the so-called sisterhood didn't respect this man, but they became, guys, angry
ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's
certain
a loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need y'all.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings, and most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every month of night.
You can't
delete your.
And you can't delete the ski, guys. You can't delete the ski. Shout out to Tip Network. Shout out to Tip Network. And shout out to Corey Holcomb. But you can't delete the ski. These young ladies got years and years of pus in them. They got a lot of pus in them. They got a lot of pus. Got a lot of pus. And that's why they so wild. Shout out to my man Gregory Scotland again for the 20. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. He said, Coach, many don't like that you, Dr. Thunder, Edward Anderson, the Angry Man, and others challenge the disingenuous position that these females take in these spaces. You had Peso Man 2 years ago. Now it's the pigeon. Yeah, it is the pigeon, and it don't bother me. It is what it is. But yeah, you're right, Gregory. It is the pigeon. We're gonna give a pigeon service announcement. She's in her car waiting for Glocktavius to come on the top of her house, of her trap house, chameleon, to get one of your outstanding gentlemen. Don't fall for it. And you're right, Top Gun and Gregory, because that's some pigeon-ish. It's time for black men to become kosher kings.
Shut up, kosher. Yeah. Shut up. Whoa. Shut up, kosher.
Ballin',
Take it back.
like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for my bag coming. 3 whole years and these records keep running. Don't talk to me if you can't match the numbers. Ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for mine.
And guys, they don't want you to be kosher kings. They don't want you to be fit and proper. They don't want you to be a kosher king. to live your life on your own terms, free of distress and free of harm. They get so angry when you expose them and tell the truth that they will revert to negative things to destroy your image as a man. And that's why I keep telling men, young and old, over and over again, to do what's best for them. Do what's best for them. We know that there is a percentage of good women that are left. Some are young, some are silent. They are good women. But because there's so few of them, I don't ask or more or less expect men that have their money together to settle for subpar, mediocre women that have undiagnosed mental illness.
I don't want to say most, but it's bad enough that a large percentage of our men get eat up by the system and they're in prison. You know, some of them for just crazy, stupid stuff. Like just this morning, I saw an article saying that there was a black man who recently served 31 years in prison for mistaken identity. Let that sink in. 31 years for mistaken identity. Like, my God. And then one pay off the man want like $1 million. What is $1 million gonna do in 31 years? With 31 years of your life gone. Anyway, I know I'm all over the place. And this is why I can't really be a commentator on these subjects, because the way my brain works, like, I'm here, there, and everywhere, okay? But yeah, I just wanted to say that I totally understand these women who are going in on Kevin. It's because they feel like he was of no value to the black community. Like, okay, just another, you know, woman hating, misogynist man is off the face of the earth now. Great.
Gregory Scotland said, Kosher the Pigeon said the other day after your stream that any man that tells a woman, tell men to choose a pygmy as a problem and a loser. Not understanding, guys, that the Bible says he that finds a wife finds a good thing. Now, there are two types of pygmy. There's a fake pygmy that fakes feminine virtues to get a man. That's a fake pygmy. But a righteous pygmy is a woman that understands what it means to be a righteous woman, and she puts herself in a position so she can be chosen by the right man. But see, guys, I don't take these hypocritical birds serious because they're extremely delusional. Because every woman wants to be picked by a man. The gospel even said that he that finds a wife finds a good thing. And the bride prepared herself for the bridegroom. The bride prepared herself for the bridegroom. So a bride that's preparing herself for the bridegroom, that's a pygmy. But that's a righteous pygmy instead of a fake pygmy that act like she's feminine, only to pull the mask off once you say, I do. And that's the problem, guys, with so many of them. Many of them are fake pygmies. Many of them are fake femininity. Many of them act as if they are righteous icons and righteous women, but as soon as you say something they don't like, they pull the mask off.
I told them the other night is trigger. Once you trigger them, the mask gonna come off.
Yo, the mask gonna come off. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Like, we've seen it. We've seen it.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
All you have to do is trigger them, and the real them will come.
The real them will come out. You're right.
Out the door. They'll start talking about your little ping. They'll start cussing you out. You know, it's gone. Salvation gone. She no longer a church girl. She don't forgot about her call as a pastor because she cussed you out now. It is a real thing. It is a real thing.
Yeah. Or these things still.
I don't think we know. We're not those women. We don't. I don't think so. I don't.
You're not what women that like vote for Biden?
Yeah, no, I didn't vote for him. boredom and the whole feminism thing. No, that's not something. No. Answer
To answer
no.
the general question, it is working against women for sure.
I thought he was asking us what do we think. So I don't know.
Yeah, but he for sure was asking us what we think, but he wasn't saying us personally. He was saying, do we think it's working against women in general? Which yes, it is.
I think it is.
Luna, did you say you're covering up for your husband that thing on your head for that reason?
Okay, I'm not about to entertain your personal questions because
let me ask you something. Because no, my mind says credibility is everything. Was that not you? That was somebody else in that bathing suit on your last thing over there? Was that somebody else or was that you? Just asking. On your last little picture thing. If it was somebody else, you could say that. If it wasn't, okay.
What you say, baby?
Hey,
was that you or no?
Can I address what you just said about
to answer the question that was originally stated?
Voting.
To answer the
Was
question
that you? Because you was asked out. No, I just want to make sure. Okay, so you can't.
Thank you, YKS for $1.99. Luna got an OnlyFans? Credibility is shot. Hold up, you got an OnlyFans, Luna? For real? Luna.
Yeah.
You got an OnlyFans?
Does that question? Why does
wait.
If I'm married though, why does it matter? Because
Wait.
Whoa. Let me talk.
Wait, what the fuck is going on?
Oh.
Listen, Luna's shaking the table with her OnlyFans. Hold on.
Like they've said in the past, this is what happens when people are blowing bubbles up your behind. In this show, we will explore the dynamics associated with fake femininity and how this woman named Luna, like so many, come into men's spaces, not only to more or less fame or virtue signal, but also to throw off what men are trying to do as it relates to male empowerment.
And guys, not only that, this woman is into tarot cards, so she's into witchcraft. That same woman is into witchcraft. Someone told me because she has a page when she's talking about witchcraft and energy. And so there are a lot of Jezebels, fake femininity, because once again, there's a righteous pygmy that's trying to live right, but then there's the fake pygmy. If a bird say that a man is a loser for calling a woman a pygmy, that's a deranged bird. And you just gotta laugh at them because they're crazy. That's a deranged pygmy.
This is a win for us, but I'm telling you, ladies, it's not a win. This man was doggone near a prophet, okay? Just sit on and just do it for me and then come back to this video and tell me after you sit on and watch one AM video them. The videos is like an hour long, okay? But just give it a chance. If you have a lot of hate and you're one on social media right now doing the bashing and you're just kind of like, oh, he sucks, I'm glad he's gone, sit on and really watch one of his videos and you come back and tell me, say, you really think that this man hated black women. Do it. That's a challenge for you. Okay? All right, let's have a conversation.
And nothing happened. And what it is, guys, we live in a time because this is what's called the zeitgeist. This is the spirit of the age. And the zeitgeist that we live in now, truth is the new hate. Truth and objectivity is the new hate. So anytime you tell a person the truth, they'll call you a hater, they'll call you ugly, they'll call you a loser, they'll call you a lame, they'll say your mother is black, and they'll say all kinds of things because they cannot receive the truth. And so guys, once again, we are in the zeitgeist, we're in the age of Aquarius. And those that talk about the black community, sadly, is finished for. The great black community of the past, like your grandmother and your great-grandmother, will happen one day in the future. But according to the prophets,
it'll only happen once the master teacher and the Messiah, Jesus, come back.
Fall comes to us and it's on time. Finders keepers, losers weep.
There's another topic I want to touch on, right?
God damn, that's it.
Jerry Springer just died.
Fuck that messy ass nigga.
Fuck her. Look, Jerry Springer just died. Hold on,
fuck that messy
I
ass.
got my opinion on this. I'm
That
gonna let y'all
nigga
say this.
Hold on.
I'm gonna let y'all say this, but I'm gonna say my issue
I'm gonna
on
get your
Jerry.
issue. Jerry Springer just died.
And you're right, D. You're right. There's a scripture that says, woe to them that calls evil or call evil good and good evil. We live in a world that calls good evil and they call evil good. And so woe, and I say woe, when there's ease in Zion, there's ease in Zion. And what I mean by ease in Zion, guys, people can no longer tell a difference between what's clean, and they cannot tell a difference between what's unclean.
Between clean and unclean, put a difference between the holy and unholy. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. There's a difference between a dog and a cat. There's a difference between a sheep and a goat. There's a difference between a son of the devil and a son of God. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me.
And the problem now, guys, you can't tell the difference between who is what. There's so many fakes now, guys, and so many that have the matrix mindset that want to keep you in a trance that now it's hard to discern right from wrong because many have been bewitched. And some of these chicks are performing witchcraft on some of you guys. And they have the spirit of Jezebel.
Issue ain't with Jerry Springer, right? God bless the dead. My issue ain't with her. My issue is with these low class. What you got? Oh, okay. My issue is with these low class, low vibrational, low IQ ass bitches that I saw. Oh my God. Rest in peace, Jerry. Oh my God. I grew up on Jerry. All these same bitches, right?
Fuck Maury too. Who the baby daddy? Who the baby daddy?
Listen, all these same women were the same women when Kevin Samuels died, praising God, right? Oh, he resting in hell. I'm rolling up Kevin in the it's a new op pack, right? All these same.
And guys, some of these women were actually performing rituals. They were performing rituals because just like Jezebel, they didn't like the righteous prophets. And I'm not comparing Kevin Samuels to a prophet in the Bible. I'm not going to go that far because Kevin Samuels was human. But Kevin Samuels more or less had a biblical worldview. Kevin Samuels taught Bible school. And Kevin Samuels wasn't perfect. And I'm sure he had his demons like everybody else. But nonetheless, Kevin Samuels' talking points came from a biblical worldview. And that's why so many didn't like him, because once again, guys, they want taxation without representation. They want the benefits of a traditional man, but they don't want to respect a traditional man. They want the glory of a traditional man, but trying to find a feminine woman in America is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Because many want your power, and many want they want your cornbread.
Hey, girl, you gonna eat your cornbread?
Don't say nothing. You talking to me? Yeah, I think you're talking to you.
腰はひねって S 字型。
Same bitches, right? But then you turn around and praise somebody that's not from your culture,
who exploit us,
who exploited your culture, made riches off making you look like a fool. Now, mind you, I'm not blaming him. He's
making money.
He was making money, right? You got on there and made yourself look like a fool. But the fact that he was making money off making you, allowing you to make yourself look like a fool, and you got somebody from your culture who was trying to uplift you and help rebuild the community, you say fuck him, but praise him.
And right, they praise Jerry Springer because they're dysfunctional, but they laughed at and mocked Kevin Samuels. And what it is, guys, they're not used to hearing black men or men in general speak with authority. And that's why I keep telling men, marrying the typical woman in the West, it's a waste of your time. I know, guys, that there are diamonds in the rough, but they are far and few in between. The West is done for. It's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. And now, guys, you got a new movement called trad cons. I'm gonna do a show on that. Some of the trad cons are genuine, I think, but some of them are Decepticons. They're called trad cons. I call them trad cons because they're traditional women that are running a con game like the Decepticons.
Fuck all you dirty ass, slut ass bitches. No cap. I'm gonna let y'all get y'all shit off, but every last one of you
This is why we tuned in for the viral show right there.
Fuck you bitches. No cap. I hope y'all go join that nigga. I'm gonna put you in the latest op pack when you go.
Your work with Red Fox, you would continue to do your own thing and start getting other roles.
And guys, this rabbit hole goes deep. This rabbit hole goes real deep. Norman Lear was part of the machine. Norman Lear was part of the machine. Gloria Allred was part of the machine. And you're going to be surprised what they say about politics, but they all part of the machine, guys. And they got a lot of you hypnotized. And that's why it's time for you as Manobots, it's time to transform.
It's been an honor serving with you all. Autobots, roll out. We roll.
Manobots, transform. It's time for you men to transform your minds. Mr. Palmer used to say in the past, change the law in your mind. And the only way to transform it is by saving yourself, black man. Now, SYSBM means one thing. It means to save yourself, and normally it's tied to interracial relationships. But I'm going to take it a step further based on my knowledge. But I would just say save yourself as a black man and become indifferent. Focus on yourself, focus on your money, and focus on all the things that's necessary to make you become a better man. Because, guys, the rabbit hole goes real deep. It goes real deep.
But at one point, it seemed like, I don't know if you deliberately stepped back or roles maybe.
I went into ministry.
Okay.
1983, brother. I went into ministry. I preached this gospel around the world, Africa, Asia.
But the question would be, why would you leave Hollywood? You know, like what was...
Why do you keep using that word? Why are you using that word?
Hollywood.
Hollywood is a tiny little place of factories. I worked at the NBC factory, a CBS factory, a ABC factory. Studios are nothing but great big sound stages. Hollywood is a small community. Do you know what that sign up there, Hollywood, stands for? Do you know what Hollywood is? It's a stick that witches use to conjure magic.
Now, this is what Lamont said. It's used to conjure magic. What witches do, they broadcast. The word broadcast is used in the clinical, but broadcasting also means to cast a spell. Broadcasting also means to cast a spell. It also means to cast a spell. And if you think about the media, and you think about witchcraft, many of, and even Hollywood, it was about broadcasting. And many have been cast a spell because a lot of this liberal propaganda, guys, a lot of this liberal propaganda is tied to broadcasting. A lot of it has been tied to broadcasting. And you will be surprised, guys, at the amount of women that are into witchcraft. You will be surprised the amount of women that are into witchcraft. That woman you're dealing with might be into witchcraft. And she's trying to cast a spell on you. And a lot of it, guys, is called we are in the latter hour.
So Hollywood doesn't mean anything to me. I went to a factory and I went to work. I walked away and went full-time in ministry. I've had a calling on my life since I was 8 years old.
Okay, so you knew that.
You should have started there. You should have started. You didn't know I was in ministry for over 35 years?
I've seen clips. When you said it clicked, but I didn't know for 35 years. I did not.
Around the world, brother.
The reason why I laid it up in that fashion is because it seems very cliquish Hollywood from the outside looking in. Why? I mean, but why didn't we see you in certain cliques? Why didn't I?
And Damon Wilson, guys, come from a biblical worldview. He comes from a biblical worldview. He was a former minister. He even wrote a book called The New Millennials or something like that. I'm gonna buy the book. But Damon Wilson comes from a biblical worldview. This is the zeitgeist. This is the age of Aquarius. And this is what we call a Hegelian dialectic. It's all by design. And I'm gonna show you guys more in a minute. Hold tight.
See you in Harlem Nights. Did you get that offer? Like, I feel like you would have been right along.
I just told you, 1982, I went full-time into the ministry. The Lord called me full-time into the ministry. I preached before thousands in Africa, thousands in China, in every city and hamlet in America. How old are you?
I'm 35.
I got to suit your age. That's why you don't know. I thought maybe you did your homework before you interviewed me. Hollywood, I've never had anything to do with any kind of clique. I'm not a cliquish person.
Right.
I had followers. When I grew up, I had the kids followed me. They followed my dress style. They followed the coolness, the way I walked. When I was in the war, I was a leader. I ain't never followed nobody. So these cliques, I could tell you things about people you named that the
And see, Damon Wilson is from the old school. He's from the old school. And but Damon Wilson knows what goes on in Hollywood. He knows what goes on into Hollywood. Many of these guys have to perform rituals. That's why they put black men in dresses, because they want to emasculate you, because in the esoteric, the man is symbolic of order, power, and structure. But since the fall of man, consistent with Genesis, there's been a war between the man and the woman. The woman, before sin, they have no problem following the leadership of the man. She didn't have no problem submitting to the authority of the man. It was in her nature to do so. But after that, it says she would have a desire for her husband, which she wanted power, and he will rule over her. And guys, every time you allow a woman to control you, you're not being obedient.
Fruit Loops. They bend over billies. You cannot make it to the top in that industry without selling your soul.
What do you know about the brother that just came forward, Christian Keys? You heard of this young actor? He just came forward and said that he was sexually harassed by a billionaire Hollywood person in power. There's assumptions of names. Is that something that happened in your industry? Like, were you ever, respectfully, I'm asking you as...
Again, here you go. My industry. It's not my industry. I'm a Broadway actor. I came to Hollywood. Wait a minute. You didn't do your homework. I'm going to tell you. I came to California. I did a film in Canada called The Dealing, or the Berkeley to Boston 40 Brick Bag Lost Blues. I went back to Broadway and I was at the Public Theater. Al Pacino was down there. The late Ron O'Neal was down there. You had a lot of actors that became famous that were down there working for Joe Papp in the Village at that theater. It's renowned. And Walter Mirisch from Mirisch Studio, from the Mirisch, do a series with Red Fox. So I've never been a part of any of that nonsense. I don't respect those people. I don't care about that. I told you I had connections. Nobody was gonna say nothing to me.
I get it. And it made me think when you just said kind of the comment about some of the people that we've known in the industry and what they might have to do to get to the top. Can you give me
all of them? All of them. You name your biggest black actors, you name your biggest white actors, you name your biggest female Latino actresses, they all have to do it. A blood oath. Now,
this is what he said. It's a blood oath. He said they all got to do it. He said they all got to do it. He said they all got to do it, guys. Did y'all hear what he said? They all got to sell themselves in some way in order to get in. They got to all give part of them. So Cat Williams wasn't lying. And I know Damon is not lying because he's an older type of Hollywood. But listen to what he's saying.
You bend over. Now every orifice that you have is going to be annihilated. You want the short and the long of it? No, I'm not giving you no names.
No.
It's out there. If you do your research, you can find out who it is.
We've covered a couple conversations, but I feel like you'll be the best person for this question right here. Is there a ritual attached to seeing black men in dresses when it comes to, I know it started around Flip Wilson time and probably before then. What's the ritual that's happening?
I told you now, listen, remember what Granddaddy told you when I first sat down here about Norman Lear. The dissolution of the patriarchal system. Now you got all these guys, they take your humanity from you.
And this is what he said, the disillusionment of the patriarchal system that these black women, some of them or many of them, said oppressed them. So they don't want a healthy patriarchy where men are leading. They want a marriage where they are both equal and where they both got power. And because women naturally are intimidated, many of men, especially if you're a masculine man. And so they want to diminish you as a man so you can flow under her authority. Happy wife, happy life is flowing under her leadership. And some of you men are so weak, y'all allow, they have the spirit of Jezebel. But it's time for men to have the spirit of Jehu. Because you allow it. You allow it. I know men are more afraid of what a woman will say than they will when they come down to another man. They respect the woman over the man.
You know how the feminist movement has categorized men. I think that what was his name? Samuels. Because they didn't want to go back to that. They want these women ignorant and twerking. They want kids running around the street. If they don't pay the income tax, they put them in the penitentiary and they get their money out of them that way. It's like I said, we live in a matrix. Your driver's license, if you take it out of your wallet, it has your name in capital letters. Your birth certificate, your passport, name is in capital letters. Black people don't question that. That means that there's two yous. There's you, the person, and you, the corporation. And you, the corporation.
And guys, that's why the REDPILL was so powerful. Because see, many men go through what's called an existentialist crisis. And they go through rage when they find out what they thought was right really was just an illusion. Some continue to stay in that stupor and they go through a delusion. But once you take the REDPILL, you will never see the world again, and you'll never see women the same again. And that doesn't mean that you have anything against women. You just see women for being human. But we've been conditioned to see women as being special and great. And these delusional women really think that they are the prize, not understanding they are not the prize. They can be the prize in their head, but they're not the prize until a man put a ring on their finger if they believe in a traditional relationship and if they want to be a wife. Because the bride prepared herself for the bridegroom. The bride prepared herself. So how can you be the prize by default until you be chosen by a righteous man? You can be a prize as it relates to your job or industries, but when it comes down to marriage, you are not the prize unless a man choose you. And that's why I tell you guys, stay away from these narcissistic American women, because it's not a black woman thing, it's an American woman thing.
Is going to pay America. Presidents have no power, and voting doesn't put a man in any office. They're placed there to do a certain job. They have an agenda that they have to adhere to. So running to the polls is not going to matter. They want people like they are.
And basically, I believe in what Lamont is saying, because if you believe in the gospel, the NWO will happen. It's happening now. The NWO will happen. We're in the age of Aquarius. Technology is taking over, and we're the age of Aquarius. We are in the latter part of the last days before the master come back. I know some will mock and laugh saying, I've been hearing that since my grandmama times. But in the book of Peter, one day to God is like 1,000 years, because God is eternal. He created time, and he is a light being. So when he said, I'm coming soon, he was right, because one day to him is like 1,000 years. So if you try to equivocate God based on man's time, it doesn't make sense. But if you equivocate God based on eternity, he is coming soon. And you look at the world now, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you're right, D. Obama opened the gates, and jail, parole, prison. Facts, every president has an agenda, yes.
Right now, polarized. The difference between Biden and Trump is that one is the flip side of the other. And they got the people running back and forth, back and forth. They got all kinds of genocidal things taking place. That Bill Gates said it. We got to do away with 3 billion people. He's been doing it in Africa, been doing it in India. And black people running to the polls talking about, we got to vote in, got to get someone, get him in there, change everything. It's nothing going to change, and it's not going to go back. When I wrote The New Age Millennium 26 years ago, I spoke about everything that's going on now. Now you can call me
And that's why, guys, when they talk about this community talk, you will never save the community. It's dead, because there are people behind the scenes that have an intent on indoctrinating your children. I'm not against anyone trying to save a remnant. I'm not against that. You should strive to save a remnant. But this country, since the inception, have oligarchs and secret societies behind the scene orchestrating the affairs of men. Some are into secret societies. And the more they know and the more information they get, they use power and persuasion to change the course of the world. Most of the presidents, especially the white ones, were in skull and bones. And I'll leave that alone. You do your own research on it. But just keep listening. Hold tight.
sage, you can call me a prophet, you can call me Negro Damas, whatever you want to call me. But all of the stuff in the book is everything that's happening now. Black people laughed at me. They said, what Lamont know about that? That's conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy, but it ain't no theory. And now they're scrambling, running back and forth, fighting each other. I said, this is not a gender war. It's not a political war. It is a spiritual warfare. People better wake up. This ain't going back. It ain't going back no place. It doesn't matter who sits in the Oval Office. Presidents have no power. They can only do what they're told to do. The educational system, I spoke about it before. The Rockefellers bought the educational system at the turn of the century. And they said, we're going to put curriculums in there to teach people how to be minions, servants of us. That's what the whole thing was about. Kids that go to prep school, private prep school, they go to Harvard and Yale and Oxford don't have the same education that people go to HMCU universities have.
So in conclusion,
let me finish, brother. The people that go to those illustrious universities come from wealth, and they're being educated to run the world, not work for it. No.
Okay. In conclusion, the men in dresses thing, do you know the origin of that? Did you ever get approached at it?
So should take your manhood from
you.
you.
Approached back in the day?
Yeah. How long we been talking?
We've been talking for probably maybe close to 35, 40 minutes.
Do I seem like type of Negro that you could come to with some bull manure like that?
Terry Crews got approached.
Who?
Terry Crews got approached. She got groped by.
Terry Crews is in a different era, brother. I'm from the golden era of Hollywood, the first 50 years of the motion picture television industry. Is what I'm from. I'm a sojourner. I wasn't supposed to live this long, I guess. My show wasn't supposed to still be relevant this long, I guess. Kids 12 and 13 years old weren't supposed to recognize me walking down the street, I guess.
Right. I only asked that because I've seen multiple people, even on our platform.
Where was Terry Crews when that? Wait a minute. Let me set you straight, young brother. 35. Where was Terry Crews when that happened? At one of their parties.
Yes.
I didn't go to one of their parties. I didn't go to none of their parties. They would nominate me for whatever. I never went. I didn't partake in that nonsense. I told my wife when we first met, if people see me on the street and say, Demond Wilson, I hate your black ass. Okay. Demond Wilson, I love your black ass. Okay. All I want from my career, Cicely is my wife's name, is for my work to speak for me. Apparently it still is, isn't it?
That's a fact. Now, you mentioned the mob. I don't know if you took any oath to speak on it as a fan of it.
I was talented. They put me in nightclubs. I played Vegas.
I mean, how do you get good? Because I thought...
I had the same manager that managed the late Glenn Campbell, that managed the late Tony Bennett business.
Guys, I'm going to show y'all the other part about Lamont and broadcasting and witchcraft in a minute. And you're going to see, guys, that not only broadcasting is real, but witchcraft, and that guys wearing what's called a digital simulator. The world that y'all remember from the past will never come again. It's done for. We're heading to the age of Aquarius. With computer technologies, transhumanism, we're heading into the age of Aquarius.
I never went to the parties. I didn't belong there. I didn't belong there. I was not part of that group. I wasn't a bend over Billy. Well, first of all, that would have never happened. I don't carry myself that way.
I didn't assume that. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I know that the industry does approach in their own way.
I never did an episode when I wasn't strapped. Never. People knew that about me. Red 2. I had Derringer.
You didn't need to have the carrier.
Because it had an audience. It wasn't. Somebody said, what separated your show from the others? I said, we weren't homogenized. At the end of the series, it said, Sanford and Son is recorded before a live studio audience. That was my voice. There was 400 people sitting up there. You didn't have to pass through a metal detector to get in that studio. What if somebody had they call it a psychotic episode? Right. We was gonna bust on them.
Mid dialogue.
People go crazy at concerts. They don't do that. You didn't see that dude jump off.
What would you tell my generation? Like that, what would be the one nugget of like, from someone with wisdom and time on their hands?
Or serve the Lord, love the Lord with all your heart, strength, soul, mind, and body. Put him first in your life. All that other stuff about career and success, hey, the way this world is going, they're not even going to use actors anymore after a while. They're going to use your voice and your image, and the AIs are going to do it.
And guys, that's the world that we live in. I want to show you guys something real quick. Hold tight. I want to show you guys that we are in a digital simulator. But let me show you guys. This is a story from a woman that was a witch. And it talks about broadcasting. Hold on.
Today, my first question, before...
Now, this woman is a former witch. Some of you don't believe that it's real, but it's very much real. That woman you're dealing with might be a witch. Women that are into crystals, tarot cards, sage, ancestor worship. They're into witchcraft. Some are heavily in it, some are lightly in it. But I need you guys to listen to this.
We dig into the meat of this interview. You were very heavily involved in witchcraft at one point in your life. Just really quickly, for people who don't know your testimony, who don't know your story, how did you get involved in witchcraft?
Yeah, around the age of 13, I was started to get depressed. I was being bullied at school. And even though I was in a Christian home, my parents did the best that they could, but they were heavily on the side of just abuse. And so when you were in trouble, you were beat. And so I believe the enemy used that to come against my self-worth, who I thought I was. And I was so depressed. I just thought if I would die, life would be better for everybody else. And so during that time, I was connected with some girls, and I remember going to a sleepover, and they watched a movie called The Craft.
And guys, that movie called The Craft, guys, that movie called The Craft was actually shaped by real witches. They actually performed real rituals in that movie. They actually cast a spell, or they broadcast it when they were in that movie. They broadcasted when they were in that movie. They had real witches come and bless that movie. They had real witches that blessed it. But some of you don't think it's real, but it is very much real. But hold tight, let me finish playing. Hold tight.
And this movie came out around 1996, and it was about 4 witches who were in high school. And these witches were bullied and picked on, and their lives were kind of messed up, and they used witchcraft to control situations around them and to get what they wanted. I watched the movie, and I thought, I want that. Well, of course, in the movie, they went too far anyway, and the witchcraft had turned against them, and the girls were desperate to get out of it. But during that point, I didn't even see that ending. I just thought, oh, I won't go that far. I'm just going to be innocent in it. And I began to study the religion of Wiccan and study different spells and incantations and New Age practices and occult practices that I was doing in a Christian home that nobody knew I was doing. And so what started off as something innocent, where I'm just connecting with energy and the universe and vibes and all these innocent things that we see, took me down a path of just dark desperation. I felt at one point that
So when you hear women talking about the universe, they worship the universe and vibes and ancestor worship. They're actually in divination. According to the book of Deuteronomy, that's divination. And when you delve into divination, you are in the occult. I talk about the zodiac, and I have to be careful because I don't follow the horoscope because that's witchcraft, but there's some truth to the zodiac. And I'll leave that alone. But I want you guys to keep listening to this.
I was living in like a haunted house because I was hearing scratches on the wall right next to me. I would feel brushed by me and be terrified that somebody is here in the room with me. Someone's watching me. I've always felt like I was being watched. When I would wash my face for the day, it was one of the most terrifying things that I did. When I took a shower and I had to close my eyes, I was so terrified. If I had to get up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water, I would run because I thought something's going to grab my feet. I was an adult at this point, and it took me far into drugs. I ended up being homeless and on drugs, in and out of jails and all kinds of things. For 9 years of my life, I was really in a dark place.
And one day God did set you free, Jenny, and we're so grateful that you've renounced that and you are a minister of the gospel, an awesome worship leader. I love your testimony, and 700 Club has covers your story quite a bit, and so we're so grateful for that. But you know, Jenny, it's so troubling to see that witchcraft and the occult is really on the rise. I mean, we're seeing it.
And guys, it's on the rise because needs drive behaviors. That's consistent with Dr. William Glasser. Dr. Glasser said that needs drive behaviors. And Dr. Glasser said it was predicated in power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival. And because the church is now so weak, people are looking for real answers. The church got the power, but so many churches have compromised. The church has got the power, but many have compromised.
In stores, we're seeing clothing promoting, hey, I'm a good witch, or I'm a bad witch, you know.
Right.
We're seeing even witches having workshops and retreats and all these things. Why do you think this has become so much more mainstream, so much more acceptable?
I think media has done a good job of pushing something to the point where it is now normalized, when back in the day, something like that for you and I, it would be shocking to see. And now, because we have shows as early as, daycare age, promoting witchcraft and sorcery, and it's okay, boys and girls, say these spell words with us. And it's so ABC preschool witchcraft that it gets into the hearts and the minds of people, including the people in church, and people who are not really connected with the Lord and don't understand. They're easily deceived. And the Bible talks about even the very elect will be deceived. And so people are going to a whole nother source. That's what they're wanting. They want a healing crystal because they don't understand that Jesus is the healer, and there's no other source that you can go to except through Jesus. And so I'm seeing a rise of this. I'm seeing it become very trending on TikTok and things like that. And there's a whole generation of people who I feel like are being rocked to sleep by the enemy. And it's just really time for the church, like what you're doing this interview, to sound the alarm and say, no, we need to wake up and we need to say, this is not right. And it's not for my home. It's not for my kids.
And I believe that a lot of young girls are being targeted because there's this one, apparently she's an influencer on Instagram. Her name is, I think, Brie Luna or something like that. And she partnered with Smashbox, the cosmetics company, and they created a whole cosmetic line using, I think, inspired by crystals.
Right. Yeah, they're pushing the envelope. They want to see everything push the envelope. What's trendy? What's really shocking? What's going to get the attention of people? They recreated that movie, The Craft, in 2020.
Really?
They recreated the movie and they invited real witches on the set, and they had the witches before they would do a scene to cast spells and to invite the actresses to come into this circle with them.
Listen to what she said, guys. They invited real witches to cast spells. This is what I told you guys earlier. They invited real witches.
In the Bible, it talks about even the very elect will be a whole generation at home. It's not for my kids.
And she partnered with Smashbox, the cosmetics company.
Trendy. What's really shocking? What's going to get the attention of people? You know, they recreated that movie, The Craft, in 2020.
Really?
And so remember what we said about Hollywood. Hollywood is a stick or a broom or wood that witches use. It's consistent with broadcasting. Think about it. Cast a spell broad to keep you hypnotized and distracted. But many won't get it because most of them are not cerebral thinkers.
They recreated the movie and they invited real witches on the set, and they had the witches before they would do a scene to cast spells and to invite the actresses to come into this circle with them while they were releasing spell words over the viewers and over the scene. And they broadcast it and wrote articles like, isn't this amazing? We're getting real and raw with these real witches. And people are playing it in their home, and it's entertainment. And, you know, Charlene, I always say the first part of entertainment is enter. So be careful what's entering your home.
Absolutely.
I didn't have that in my home, but it is definitely a shock factor that our generation is really gravitating towards.
And enter also can mean entertainment. Entertainment, to detain your mind and your spirit. And this woman is correct. This woman is a former witch. Entertainment.
That is so shocking. I didn't know that. We're certainly going to make sure that people are aware of that. I understand, Jenny, that a lot of people are burning sage. What's your take on Christians even?
Now remember, guys, I told you guys earlier about sage. Y'all thought I was joking. Remember I told y'all about sage. There might be some people that burn sage and it's innocent. But many witches use sage in witchcraft. There's symbolism behind it.
Burning sage, and what's that supposed to do?
Burning sage is something that I did while I was practicing witchcraft. And when I got into a home with another witch that I lived with, the very first thing that we did as witches is we got bundles of sage from the New Age store, and we would burn sage to rid the house of evil.
And so the word New Age, guys, is like New Age religions, like transcendental meditation. Even some scripts from the Star Wars movie is New Age, like use the Force, chakras, and the Kundalini serpent, yoga. All that stuff is New Age. It comes out of the New Age religion, but also it comes out of Eastern mysticism. I studied that in my youth. I studied apologetics in my 20s. And it's all part of divination. It gets you into the spirit realm. Ayahuasca, peyote, ayahuasca is called the decalcification of the pineal gland. So you can astral project. You can get into the spirit realm, because the watcher angels taught men about things that men didn't know because it's esoteric. That's why men can take ayahuasca and they can get into the spirit realm. And sometimes it's dangerous because you can see entities good and bad.
And so we would go in the corners and rid the house of evil. And I never thought in a million years that I would see Christians doing it. I thought in my day, I thought this is just what witches do. This is what people in the occult world do. This is what people in the New Age world do. And now there's so much mixture, and it's passed down information that people don't know the origins. And it's really from, if we go all the way back we can see that it is steeped in witchcraft, where you're communicating with spirits, you're communicating with the dead, and you're trying to push these things back. But the only thing that will
Communication, guys, with the dead is called necromancy. That's ancestor worship. It can be ancestor worship, where you're praying to the ancestors. That's called necromancy in the Bible, in the book of Deuteronomy. And it's forbidden. Anytime a person tells you they saw, if you got a person say, I saw my grandmama and she was in a rocking chair, or I saw my granddaddy looking at me on the outside after he passed, that's a familiar spirit. It's familiar because those spirits know, they're called knowing ones, and they know certain people in your family, and they can masquerade to deceive you to get you into an emotional conniption. They're called knowing ones. They're familiar spirits. And a lot of people fall prey to it because that's how psychics and mediums play on people's mind. They know some knowledge, but they don't know all knowledge. But they know enough to make you think what they're saying is true.
do that. The only thing that gets rid of evil is the spirit of our God, period. And so I personally don't practice that. I don't come in partnership with that. I don't recommend it for anybody. If you're trying to clean your house, and get some Lysol. And if you want the evil to go, call on the name of Jesus.
Amen. Anoint your house with some holy anointed oil that's been prayed over in the name of Jesus. That's right.
That's right.
So, Jenny, what are some other red flags that people should look for that something may actually be occultic or witchcraft?
Well, we're seeing a rise of the, like I said earlier, healing crystals. Crystals that give you energy. And when I have conversations with Christians, their genuine question to me is,
listen what she said about crystals, guys. Listen.
Well, didn't God make this? So isn't it okay? And I just want to caution people that just because something is here and it is made, like for instance, I can make drugs here. Drugs are on the earth. That doesn't mean that I should be partaking in it and putting it in my body. And so we need to be careful that we are going to the source. We're seeing healing crystals. We're seeing people wearing these third eye necklaces. We're seeing people that are channeling their energy and chakra.
The third eye necklace, guys, is the eye of Horus, or the eye of Osiris. I think it's the eye of Horus. And the third eye is also seen on your money. It's also seen in what some call some occultic circles. It's seen on the American dollar because it's part of the occult, deism. And some of the founders were into that stuff. It's all, the occult is all in America. It's all in America. It's all on the money. It's all in everything.
And people communicating with ancestors and getting their ancestors' spirits to give them power. I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about, I'm having conversations with Christians who are doing these things. Dabbling in things that the origins of the event, like the event that we have coming up this weekend, Halloween, dabbling in these origins, where the origins, when you go back, you can't separate that it was steeped and done in witchcraft and the demonic realm. And so I would just caution people, just be mindful of what's coming into your home through movies, music, entertainment. I went to the store that's a very popular store, and I even hate to say their name, but it was Marshall's. Marshall's. And I was just blown away that Marshall's had actual witchcraft books, like, oh, you can come in here and you can do a spell, and then you can get this sage, and you can get these healing. It was like a whole kit. And they're selling it like it's a holiday kit that you would buy someone. And so it's really starting to be very mainstream. And I just feel like the church needs to be aware that we need to stay away from all things. The Bible says to stay away from those things of darkness, but rather expose them, not to partake in them.
Man. What's your advice to people who, Christians perhaps, and others, who have dabbled in these sorts of things, but really didn't understand the real danger involved with those things? What's your advice to them? What should they do?
Yeah, I would absolutely say have a conversation with the Lord. always going to the Lord and saying, Father, I'm just asking you to cleanse me, wash me clean. God, I don't know if what I dabbled in, if that was okay or not, but I just want to make sure, God, that I'm right with you. And I ask you to rid me of any connection to anything in the demonic realm, the occult realm, or new age practices. God, I want to follow your truth. And so just having that conversation with the Lord, and then purposing in your heart that you're going to ask the Holy Spirit for guidance everywhere that you go. We are getting a lot through our eye gate. We're getting a lot through our ears, what we hear, what we see all the time, asking the Lord, God, I need your protection today. I want to know the truth. And then if you have dabbled in things like, I have had to do this. I have dabbled in things, not dabbled. I was fully immersed in them. I've had to say, I renounce all occult practices. I renounce the craft. I renounce witchcraft. I renounce all the perversion that came with it. And I cling to the Lord. The Lord is my master. He's the Lord of my life. And I declare this day that I only serve and follow Jesus. And you make those declarations, and the Bible says you can decree a thing and it will be established so that his light will shine on your ways. And so I absolutely would go to the Lord, repent for knowingly or unknowingly participating in something that would be considered witchcraft.
Would you take a moment, Jenny, and just pray for those who will see this interview and lead them in a prayer like that?
All right.
Yes. Father, in the name of Jesus, God, we come to you and we ask you, Lord, that your hand would continuously rest on us. Father, we repent right now by the name of Jesus Christ for any involvement in the occult and new age, in witchcraft practices. Father, we just repent right now. God, we're asking that you would wash us clean. Father, we say, come and take over. Holy Spirit, lead us and guide us in all truth. And in the name of Jesus Christ, we break every bit of witchcraft, every spell, every hex, every vex, every incantation, all sorcery, all magic, all voodoo. It is broken now by the precious blood of Jesus.
Now, guys, let me show you guys something. If y'all don't believe me, that this rabbit hole goes real deep. It goes deep, guys. It goes real deep. I'm going to show you guys something else real quick, and then we're going to end this stream. It's been a good one. But we're about to go down the rabbit hole one more time, guys, because the age of Aquarius is here. And never to go back again. We're on track for what Muslims call the Mahdi and what Christians call or believe is the Antichrist. But let me show you guys something. Hold tight.
Down the rabbit hole we go. This is a place where we explore, analyze, collaborate.
Now, guys, y'all ain't gonna believe this, but look at this.
So, Amazon.
Look at what Amazon is doing, guys. Look at what Amazon is doing. New Amazon series depicts Satan as the good guy. That's why I'm telling you guys, the few sisters that are left, shout out to the good sisters, are far and few in between. But watch this, guys. Listen to this.
So, Amazon, I've just put out a new series that depicts Satan as the hero. Watch this.
Once upon a time, there was a glowing city protected by golden gates, known as heaven. It was ruled by beings of pure light, angels that worshipped good and shielded all from evil. Lucifer was one of these angels. He was a dreamer with fantastical ideas for all of creation, but he was seen as a troublemaker by the elders.
So almost like John Milton's Paradise Lost. Yahweh was bad. Yahweh was a tyrant, just like what they're trying to make men. Y'all see where it's going at? Lucifer was the victim. The woman is the victim. The man wants to control her, and the man don't want her to have any power. Lucifer is using the same deceptive techniques to dissuade the woman.
Of heaven, for they felt his way of thinking was dangerous to the order of their world. So he watched as the angels began to expand the universe in their ways. From the dust of earth they created Adam and Lilith, equals as the first of mankind. But despite this, Adam demanded control, and Lilith refused to submit to his will. She fled the garden.
So the girl that was on, the OnlyFans called herself Lilith. Now, even though Lilith wasn't real, I don't think Lilith is in the Bible, but Lilith symbolizes rebellion. Lilith is the modern woman. Eve was symbolic of the woman before the fall, the righteous before the fall. But you see it for yourself, guys.
Drawn in by her fierce independence, Lucifer found her, and the two rebellious dreamers fell deeply in love.
So that spirit of rebellion, guys, is strong. You have a lot of women that have the spirit of Lilith. They want to be like Lilith. But before we end the stream, guys, this was the clip. This was the clip, guys, that proves my point about being the age of Aquarius. Let me show you guys this clip real quick, then we're going to end it. And this is what we were talking about earlier. This rabbit hole goes deep. And George Bush, remember, is part of Skull and Bones, part of secret societies that's been around since eons and ages. It goes all the way back to Egypt. It goes back into what's called mystery religions. And they all have been conspiring since the master teacher went back to heaven. And what you're seeing now is a setup for what some call the Antichrist. That's why all these rebellious women that rebel against structure and order, they are under a demonic influence. And this is what Gregory is talking about. And I remember this back when I was a kid in the 90s, a teenager in the 90s. I think it was in the early 90s. And I knew when they said that, I knew that it was going to proliferate. And it got worse when Obama became president, because Obama was the conduit that opened the floodgates.
Behind their back. I'm hopeful that this fighting will not go on for long, and that casualties will be held to an absolute minimum. This is an historic moment. We have in this past year made great progress in ending the long era of conflict and Cold War. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new...
This is what he said. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance of this new world order. That's part of the Hegelian dialectic, to bring order out of chaos. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And that's a Hegelian dialectic. And it's going to happen. That's why when people talk community, they don't understand systems and they don't understand the esoteric. It's nothing you can do, because prophecy is greater than anything. That can prayer hold back? That's tied. Yes, it can. But we're in the age of Aquarius, and it started started to pick up steam back in the 60s. Y'all remember that song called "It's the Age of Aquarius"? That's when the rebellion started taking place. Back in the 60s, when they started getting into the occult and it started proliferating. It was always there, but it began to become more mainstream. So it's nothing you can do to stop it. BLM is part of, and all these organizations. Even the Panthers were funded by the Rockefellers, according to Damon Wilson.
New world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Now, y'all heard it for yourselves. And so that's why Kevin Samuels' message was so detrimental. I knew his message wasn't going to last. Not because I didn't want it to last, but I knew it wasn't going to last because it goes against the NWO. And it is what it is, guys. It is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm gonna read you some of these comments, guys, then we're gonna end this stream. But thank you guys for tuning in. This was a good one, guys. I think this was one of the better shows I did in a while. Pitmaster C said, I found a witch I dated a witch I found out afterwards. Found a lost journal of hers. Wow. Yeah, you're right, Cortez. You're right. All right, guys. We're gonna end this stream. Yeah, you're right, Bunnies. Yeah, I know. They have everybody supporting it, man. And you're right, Cortez Smith. Yep, the music groups like the Beatles and the Doors played a part. Yes, sir. The 60s was really the beginning of it, when it began to show rebellion, the free love movement, feminism, Marxism. Like I said, it was the Black Panthers was part of that Marxist stuff. And it even Marxism goes back to the occult. Read the book called The Naked Communist. That'll tell you everything you need to know. But anyway, guys, I got to be careful talking because I don't know. Yeah. Tell me what you remember, Greg. Greg said, "Great, Coach, I remember this." Tell me what you remember, Greg. And guys, we're going to end this stream, but they still lying on the brothers. And guys that are single, the only thing I can say, guys, is God be with you.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
Fall comes to us in its own time. Finders keepers, losers we.
I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over. And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
To exclusively marry black men. We are in the middle of a crisis. Black men are in crisis. And anybody who denies that black men are in crisis is ignoring the data, the science, the research, the statistics. It is not a figment of your imagination that there are not enough eligible black men to marry.
It's been an honor serving with you all. Autobots, roll out. We roll.
Nanobots, transform.
She lie on them brothers, separate uncles and nephews and cousins and try to pin us against mothers. How you a woman but ain't got a man for protection, but you undercover? How do you think that we suffer? Thought we were sisters and brothers. Now you get birthed in the gutter. When they rap, they the same ones that cut you. Be the same ones who yell and they love you. Be the same ones who calling me nigga. After that, wanna say I'm his brother. Yeah, she lie on them brothers. 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 So all going on in your man, you don't get it. And using your women as splitters, then hitters. Put you in place and our family ruined. Target your boys, you don't see what they doing. We gotta beat them, you wanna join them, we just leave them. Your feminist feminism, more like treason. Politics, you don't even follow leaders. First is master, probably cause of your Jesus.
God is white. Isn't it obvious? Well, that is obvious, but we don't know if it's obvious that God is white. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Jesus did not have blonde hair and blue eyes. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the images of Jesus that are on prison walls and churches throughout the world are not historically correct, because history teaches us that Jesus was born in a region where the people had color. There's proof in the very Bible that you ask us to read in Revelation, 1st chapter, verse 14 and 15, that Jesus had hair like wool and feet the color of brass. Just what are you saying? I'm not saying anything. I'm proving to you that Jesus was not, and I might quote one of our Indian brothers, he was not a pale-face.
This would have been a dick, you didn't believe it. You reap the benefits from your achievements. Penitentiary, all we get is to eat it. But God on our side, baby, we gon' beat it. Chill out on them, brothers. Chill out on them, brothers.
I'm big on you. I'm the biggest, baddest.
Separate uncles and nephews and cousins and try to pin us against mothers. How you a woman but ain't got a man for protection, but you undercover? How do you think that we suffer? Thought we were sisters and brothers. Now you get birthed in the gutter. When they rap, they the same ones that cut you. Be the same ones who yelling they love you. Be the same ones who calling me nigga. After that, wanna say I'm his brother. She loud on the brothers. 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 She loud on the brothers.
Breaking all these black men with what? And they don't give a fuck. Yeah, this man hit me with fucking grabbed a rock and it hit me in my fucking face because I would have given him my number. And all y'all just fucking watch. You don't see that shit? You don't see that shit? What y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man and fucking do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face.
Roll out. 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 Roll out.
When my friends go, it was simple. When the ends low, switch the tempo. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, then I strike. I go hard day and night, yeah. I go hard day and night. 1-to-1, no surprise. See the hate in their eyes. My brother's blood money bleed. I got the game in the squeeze. What would you do for some green? What would you do for some blues? Go pick and choose the fam of the cheese. Some people not built like that. Some people get killed like that. Pressure like water, lights, mortgage, I'm paying that bills like that. Now I got kids like that. No wonder why I feel like that. Some people go to war for nothing. Me, I go to war for something.
Before there was the manosphere, I was. Before there was the internet, I was.
When the ends low, switch the tempo. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, bet I strike. I go hard day and night. Money on the line, keep calling. Money on the books, ain't all that. My kids, they'll be ballin'. Got a real bankroll, not for Instagram. My mama on the line, keep calling. Praying for me, know I need all that. Told me it's not about ballin'. Real blessed, but I'm still sinning, man. What would you do for a win? What would you do for your friends? What if this life is a foe? What if it all was pretend? What if you wrote to the end? What if you started again?
The kosher clinician.